NARC troopers. I just wanted to announce this evening that my book came out this week. It's on Amazon. It's also on Kindle. And I've got a collection, 333 pages, which is so weird because 3 is my lucky number. And after putting all the essays on there, I just happened to look at the number at the end and it said 333. I'm not a numerologist or anything, but I do think numbers have significance, and that's pretty cool. So what I put together is like a collection of different essays that I started writing pretty shortly after my June 2019 getting kicked to the curb by my narcissist. And I started writing about that, trying to talk about the experience, what I was going through, what I was feeling, offering suggestions about how we all sort of navigate through it. I started digging around and doing research, listening to YouTube videos and reading books about it and reading research from online. Columbia University has one, and Stanford, Kubler-Ross, Richard Grannon, Steve Wilson, Sam Vaknin is my favorite. I just really dug in and spent all of my free time when I wasn't at work educating myself about what this was and how to survive it. Because like if you got cancer or diabetes or something, you would want to learn everything you could about that disease so you would have your best chance of surviving it and know how to fight it, how to cope with it. It's the same thing. When you experience the discard after a narcissistic abuse cycle of something horrific, it's not like your regular breakup. So well-meaning people may give you really bad advice, and friends may not understand, family may not understand. It's hard to believe unless you know about it. And I think that there's like an increasing number of these people in our world. So for that reason alone, I think we all need to know what it is and what is the reaction to it, and like all the science behind it. I have learned so much. I think I'm an expert now, because for 2 years and 4 months, I have ravenously devoured hours of material daily. I kid you not. Yeah. I kid you not. So you're thinking, wow, you need to get a life, and that seems rather obsessive. But no, I needed to know. It was my comfort place, learning about it. And then I started writing, and then I had people start asking me questions. And I wanted to, if I'm going to be an authority on something, a recovery facilitator, some of these things that I'm doing now, I can't do that if I don't know what I'm talking about. So I have to find out everything that there is to know about that. I just want to say there's a lot of therapists, licensed professional counselors with master's degrees, even people that are psychologists and that kind of thing. They really don't have any experience or training with narcissism and with NPD, ASPD, and there's so many new things now to learn about that's so interesting. They have like a new personality disorder that when they do the next revision of the DSM, Diagnostic Manual for Mental Illnesses, they're going to add it to it, and it's prolonged grief disorder, PGD. Yeah, it's a thing, and it happens to about 10% of people, maybe more, but studies have indicated about 10 to 15% of people who have been in this shared psychosis, this cognitive dissonance, this dissociation, that it's like a dissociative time. It's like you've been in a coma for the whole time that you were with that person, and then you wake up when they disappear, and it's like they just unplug their hooks out from you and then exit, and you're still left behind in that fantasy land of that is not real. They just leave you there. It's like Disneyland closes and you get locked inside and you can't ever leave. You're trapped inside there 24/7. All the gates are locked. It's dark. There's no more fun and fireworks, no more rides and food. It's scary. It's empty. It's barren and desolate and lonely and horrible, and you can't leave. And so that's kind of what the aftermath of this is about, because your brain is so dysregulated and there's just so many things happening to you. You have trauma in the body. You probably have PTSD or CPTSD. You have dysregulated brain chemicals, neurobiology, physiological problems. I could go on, and I do in my book. So I invite you to go to Amazon and look up After the Narcopath. After the Narcopath, a collection of essays on narcissistic personality disorder. By the time I'm done, I have partnered, I just want to say, with quite a few professionals, taken quite a few training programs to do coaching and therapy for people that are going through this. I feel that, just because you have a degree, like I was saying earlier, like if you are a therapist or a psychologist, doesn't mean you know anything about narcissism, and it doesn't mean you can help people who come to you who are experiencing withdrawal from the addiction to their narcissist. They don't know enough about it to really help you. I hate to say that. So this is a new field, and I want to be a leader in that field, someone that can be trusted and looked upon as somebody who knows their stuff and can help. I'm really tired. It's been a long day at school. I want to also tell you that, the book starts off where it's just like my experiences and the little that I do know about narcissism. But as it goes on, I do more research, polyvagal theory. We go through all the vocabulary, the different pieces of it. We talk about different ways to recover. What if you do have prolonged grief syndrome, narcissistic abuse syndrome? That's NAS. Look it up. It's a thing. It's for real. It is a specific diagnosis that you can have. NAS, narcissistic abuse syndrome. There's all kinds of stuff, and I try to cover them in these articles, and I've written 150 articles in the last 2 years and 4 months. Actually, 2 years and 2 months, because for the first 2 months I couldn't move and I was in bed and I couldn't even get out of bed for 2 months. But when I did get up, I started writing pretty much suddenly. Like, he left in June. I think it was August when I published my first piece. And I've just been going strong ever since, not stopping. Because you know what my new mission is, guys? I want to educate everybody about what this is. I want everybody to know, what is narcissistic personality disorder? How does that compare to sociopathy and psychopathy? How do they overlap into some comorbidity? And sometimes even include like schizophrenic schizoid features and borderline and stuff like that, all of us in these relationships, both your narcissist and us, have dependency personality disorder. There's no such thing as codependency, right? That's just slang for dependency personality disorder, which is cluster C on the chart. It's a real thing, guys. We need to know all this stuff, and through knowing it and understanding what's happening to us, it's like understanding that diabetes or that cancer, and then knowing how to fight it, knowing how to overcome it, and understanding just what the heck happened to you. So this book is a good start, because even though it's got a heavy dose of very raw, unfiltered personal experience, that only is used to validate the message that I have for you. And the message has something to do that's didactic, which is instructional, educational. It's going to teach you something. It's going to make you think about something. And I also want to tell you another reason to read the book. I was a writer before this happened to me, and I had published a book written tons of short stories and articles for publications and things like that. So I've been a writer always. I mean, it's just kind of my thing. I just shifted and leveraged this experience to change the focus of my writing and to not be what it was before, but now completely in this niche area of narcissistic recovery from abusive relationships. And so it's got my full attention. But I just want to say that the things that I write, they're not just like instruction manuals or how-tos or let's define this word and just written like that. I have role models. I'll tell you who they are. Joan Didion. She's a Californian. Someday I'm going to get there. I am. She's a California person who has a narrative voice that's very much like mine, I think. I don't know. I try to kind of channel her in my writing. She's my mentor, my role model, and I love her. The way that she writes, she's very smart, and she writes prose. It's well composed. The way she puts it all together is evocative and compelling. And so when you read my book, it's not just articles about narcissism. The way that here's my thing that makes me different from the rest. There's so much stuff out there by a bunch of therapists or life coaches or people that are trained in this. And I don't dispute that they have knowledge and ability to help you and all of that. But what I don't see any of them having is the ability to write beautiful prose with evocative, compelling, richly textured, robust words that will cause you to feel that you have experienced something beautiful, something well written, something that's more like a piece of prose than just an educational article about narcissism. So that is what sets me apart from the rest. And I want that to be something that everybody understands and knows, that my writing is prose. It will be something that causes you to feel something, because that's what good writing does. And you know, I have mucked up my whole life. I am older. I am alone. I'm probably going to always be alone till the end. I have had cycles of choosing mentally ill people 3 times in a row that took up my whole life. Decades I've spent with 3 different mentally disordered people. And I did that because my mom was mentally disordered. So there is much of my life that has been an epic failure. I have 3 children and they're very far away for a reason. I mean, they call me, they tell me they love me, but they're far away, like in other countries and stuff, for a reason. Because my life has been messy and I've colored outside the lines, and I've had wounded childhood toxic programming, and I have chosen crazy people to bring into their lives, and even their own fathers were not okay. So out of all my whole life, the only thing that I can say that I do well is probably 2 things. I'm a good writer, and I'm a good teacher, because I'm also a high school and / college professor, and I do those 2 things really well. I'm a good writer, I'm a good teacher, and probably I don't do anything else well. I can't swim, I don't cook, not much at least. I can't put things together. I can barely work my remote. I don't see very well. I have low vision. I don't ride scooters, so I'm no fun. I can't hop on a scooter and zip around town. I mean, there's a lot of things about me that aren't great. I've made crazy decisions based on fear. I have been a slave to my trauma that has been with me since childhood. So I'm telling you, you will enjoy the writing. It will move you, and you will learn something. And that's why you should read my book and then comment to me. And if you don't like it, tell me, email me, send me a message and say you suck, and then tell me why. Don't just say I don't like you, because this isn't about me or liking me or disliking me. This is about my writing. Was was it worth $7.99 on Kindle? Was it worth $14 to have the book in your hands that you could gift someone who needs to know about this stuff? Like if you've got family or friends who don't get this and they don't understand, give them the book for the holidays. Wrap it up and give it as a Christmas present and say, you need to read this. And maybe it'll help them to understand. So I just wanted to say the book is there in commemoration of, it marks the 2-year divorce day, which was November 1st. And, I want to close with this. I don't vilify my partners who are ill, especially this last one that I spent 16 years with, 15 years married to him. And although the whole thing was extremely unwell, unhealthy, I still know what love is, very much so. And I love him in spite of his illness, in spite of how horrible his illness makes him behave. And so it's almost like, it's like if a mentally ill person did something really awful, can you really hold them accountable for doing something awful if they're really, really mentally ill? That's your ethical quandary that I want you to think about. And I have thought about it. And I've gone through the stages of anger and sadness and denial and bargaining and begging and all of that, in these last 2 years. But at the end of the day, you have 2 trauma victims, me and him, both trauma victims from childhood trauma, who reacted differently and who fit together very well because of what we each needed to do, the roles we needed to play with each other. It makes complete sense. And I want you to have the gift of being able to dissect your relationship with your narcissist, do an autopsy, and fully understand why it made sense, why you stayed, why it was the way it was, why they did what they did to you, and how they were incapable of doing anything else, and so were you. There's no one victim here. You're both victims. And you can't vilify anybody, really. We're talking about mental illness here. You don't want to stay in it. You don't want to invite them back. You don't want to give up everything in your life that is sane or healthy or good just to hold on to something that is so sick and wretched and twisted, right? That doesn't make sense at all. So I'm not saying, forgive them and make up with them and stay with them and love them. And no, that is not what I'm saying. You have to get out to save yourself. They will kill you. If not physically, then definitely spiritually, mentally, emotionally, in every capacity. They are a virus. They are a predator. They are a threat to your life. And they are a threat to the lives of everyone around you. So read the book and see what you think. And let me know. And let me know if it helps, because I'm convinced that this is my purpose for the last chapter of my life. There's a book analogy for you there. Book metaphor. For this last chapter of my life, I'm supposed to write about this and talk about this and educate you about this and do everything in my power to ease people's suffering and raise their consciousness about narcissistic personality disordered people And they may have some sociopathy and psychopathy too. That is my purpose. I believe that's what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. Some people don't agree with that. They think that I need to put it down and stop so that I can forget about it and pretend like never happened and erase it, kind of like he erased me. Others think that it's not good for other reasons, but it's almost like I can't not be here for you. I have something to tell you, something to show you, teach you, make you understand. And I have something I want you to feel on an emotional level with me, through me. And I want to help you be okay. And I think I can do that through my words and through some of the other things that I do, to help. I think that that's what I'm supposed to do. If I have this gift, I think I'm supposed to use it, because my writing is different from what is in the mainstream narcissist circles. And, everybody has a part to play. And I have a seat at that table too. And I can't not do it. I can't leave that table and go do something else. I believe that God wants me to write about narcissistic personality disorder. That sounds crazy saying that, sort of, but not really. Yeah, I think he does. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thanks for listening, and check it out, After the Narcopath. And let's keep going. All right, much love. Stay safe. Bye.